What's poppin', everybody? This is Sabrewolf94. I'm doing this a few days earlier than usual, but it's time to talk about the TCG meta and what's it gonna mean when our newest set comes out, Unified Minds. So before I talk about Unified Minds, which is actually a very great set, it's as big as Lost Thunder, I believe, and it's one of the most varied sets we've had. It just seems like sets keep getting better, and if this is the final Sun and Moon set, I think we might get like another one. But if this is the last one, the era is definitely going out with a bang. But regarding the format, since Unbroken Bonds came out, there was a lot of hype for Fire Pokemon. It just seems like that set was all about Fire Pokemon and Metal Pokemon. I was originally more afraid from Pokemon like Melmetal GX and all of the Metal support. I thought that, hey, maybe they have enough tools right now to actually make effective tanks. And there were some good Melmetal decks and metal tank decks in general that could perform nicely, but it just seems like in the end, Fire Pokemon was the biggest thing from that set. But it didn't even matter too much because, Reshiram decks, people quickly realized it has a lot of flaws, it has a lot of drawbacks, that deck, and just Lightning reigns supreme once again. You just can't top, you couldn't top all of the amazing support, just all of the tools and everything they have, Lightning Pokemon, Zekrom, from energy acceleration, from boosting damage with electro power, just draw power, searchability with the radar too, just everything. They had everything, and in the end, they reigned supreme, and they did very well. It was like one of the most popular decks in the U.S. National Championship too. Like everybody was expecting, Reshiram, the commentators, core all the time mentioning in the stream, hey, where are the Reshiram's decks? We were trying to feature a Reshiram deck, and they just weren't around. They were being played, but they were just not favored by the best players. It just was Zoroark GX and Lightning. Zoroark GX also going out with a bang. Won the championship. Stefan Ivanov, very very great finish for that guy. Taking another championship. And Zoroark GX, I think in general, has been the most successful Pokemon, the most successful deck throughout the whole Sun and Moon era. I think nobody can take that away. Unfortunately, the stall troll, as I prefer to call it, mechanic has also been relevant, with the Regigigas and Hoopa decks. Even Zoroark GX combined with the Oranguru that stacks cards in your deck. And that has also been a very real thing. Hopefully with the rotation, since a lot of those cards are going to finally get out of standard, we see a shift away from that, because it's one of my least favorite things. It's probably my least favorite things of the TCG. And speaking of least favorite things, can't forget about the fucking Marshadow. That card, man, it just seems like that card defined the whole format as well. Some new crazy decks emerged, like the new Stunfisk Spirit Tomb deck as shown in the last championship, national championship in the US. And it was nice that at least my prediction with the triple acceleration energy was spot on. That card was very significant in that event as well. Finally, cards like Dugong and other Pokemon that could take advantage of a card like that just worked perfectly. Being teched out in those Zoroark GX decks. That Dugong card played a big role in Stefan Ivanov's deck. Same goes for the Persian GX2. Just a lot of different Pokemon taking advantage of that card. And it's definitely going to be a very significant special energy as time goes on too, with other cards getting released. But I think the takeaway is that, Lightning Pokemon are still, the most consistent, most reliable. Like if you're just going to play a tournament, it wouldn't be bad to just say, hey, you know what? I think the best option would be Lightning. Either Zekrom GX straight or, Zapdos focus decks. Maybe they take out their own Zekrom or something. They have a lot of options, and the Lightning decks, they can morph and just form themselves depending on how you want. They have a lot of options. They have all of the best tools. But I think with the new unified mindset, things are finally going to start to change a bit. I think there's enough cards in there that are going to make, Lightning Pokemon have to tread even more carefully now. The biggest one, fighting Pokemon that stand out to me is the new Zygarde, the dog one. It's like I think it's 50% form or 25% form, whatever percentage it is. That card is something that I think fighting decks have been missing out on. A Pokemon that attacks, it's going to do decent damage, but also grab energies too. We haven't had that, fighting Pokemon haven't had that since Landorus from Furious Fists. And I think it's a card they're going to appreciate, even if you don't get like the extra damage from that guy's ability. Yeah, you could say, Buzzle GX and Buzzle had the B string, but that's a different animal, and those cards are going to rotate out anyway. But Zygarde, it's a nice little fighting Pokemon, and the extra damage it's going to do if you run it using other Zygardes and Zygarde GX, it's pretty good. It's definitely going to boost the damage of your fighting Pokemon. Just fill your bench with a few of those Zygardes, just even the dog one, and you have a nice little deck that can do a lot of damage for just one energy while you're grabbing energies from the discard pile. And even though fighting Pokemon like Lycanroc GX and Buzzwole GX are going to rotate out, they're definitely going to be a big loss for fighting decks. Maybe it's finally going to be the chance for something like Machamp Marshadow to shine. And we're getting other good fighting Pokemon anyway. There should be enough variety of fighting Pokemon. The Buzzwole, the regular Buzzwole from Ultra Prism is going to stick around as well. So that's something. In general, though, the unified mindset, like I don't even know where to start exactly. It just seems like every type in that set, almost every type besides Metal and Fairy, they get a lot of significant support, a lot of new Pokemon and cards they can utilize. For Grass, we have the Tsurina, which is basically the energy acceleration from the Disco Pearl ability we've seen before. It's like Malamar, more like the Farstarter Blaziken in this case, since it's a stage 2. It's a bit discouraging, but it's still a very good ability, and it's definitely going to help out a lot of the big grass Pokemon, like the Venusaur, I suppose, Tag Team Venusaur GX. You got Buzzle, Fermasa GX, and other Pokemon, even the Rowlet, Alolan Executor in the same set. So you have that shit. Fire Pokemon also get some decent support here, particularly through the trainers. There's a new stadium called Giant Hearth, letting you discard a card every turn to add 2 fire energy cards from your deck to your hand. Makes a great method to just gather those fire energies. So another deck that might be getting a boost that has done actually pretty decent for itself. The regular Blaziken, you could say was more successful than the Reshiram Charizard GX deck. When it comes to the championship anyway, the international championship, Water gets Keldeo GX, which I think is going to be a fantastic Pokemon paired up with the Team Up Blastoise. Just gather those energies on that Pokemon that's immune to other GXs. And just even on its own, Keldeo GX, I feel like as long as you have a way to get water energies on it, it should be very good. Thanks to that ability and those solid attacks. Possibly even bigger for water is the new Cryogonal, which is basically Seismitoad EX, 2.0, you could say, just making that item lock attack for just 1 energy, I believe. So item lock, more than likely making another major comeback in the format. Even Lightning, I did say that they probably need to be more careful now as competition is getting tighter, but they are getting a few great cards too. Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX, if people figure out to make that work, like the Zapdos that attacks every turn, and you use Jirachi to switch all the time and get that plus from Zapdos, Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX is basically pretty similar. It needs 3 more energies, but you're going to do 160 damage, and you always inflict paralysis too, which is pretty busted. If that sort of combo becomes possible easily, then you're looking at another strong lightning deck that's going to emerge from this set. Then we go to Sidekick. Man, Sidekick gets a lot of good shit too. The Espeon and Deoxys GX, it's kind of my one that I like very much. 2 of my favorite Pokemon. Mewtwo and Mew, of course. They're definitely going to make a splash with that sort of versatile ability. It opens the doors to so much variety and so many different combos and strategies to be used. God only knows how that Pokemon is going to be used. Latios is kind of weak, kind of disappointing in my eyes, but then you got Jirachi too. It's going to help out those psychic Pokemon with weakness, eliminate the weakness on them. So that's pretty nice. Then we go to fighting. I've already talked about, what fighting is going to bring to the table. Zygarde is probably the biggest card. There's a stage 2 Garchomp that's very powerful too. And I guess with Breloom, you can do the whole mushroom deck too. So there's even a gimmick for those people that want those sort of built-in archetypes like Lost March. In this case, this set brings you the Spore deck. So there's that. And even Darkness might finally be making a comeback in Standard. I know some people are kind of shied away. They're probably not convinced yet even though we did get Sharpedo, Greninja, Zoroark GX, those sort of obvious combos make that Pokemon really strong, gather those Darkness energy. But I think with this set, thanks to Weavile GX letting you conserve the Darkness energies, move them around, and other powerful Pokemon like Umbreon and Darkrai GX, Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX if people make that dude work, and other cards. I think Leopard is a Pokemon that's going to block. I think either basic or evolution Pokemon when it attacks. That's always a strong effect to have on a non-GX. There's a lot of variety, for strong darkness strategies too, with a darkness type. And last but not least, I guess one of the most important things I can't forget to mention is the Garchomp and Giratina Gx. This might be one of the biggest GXs, like Tag Team GXs and GXs in general in this set, because of its ability to get one-hit knockouts on big Pokemon. As long as they have a few damage counters on, you can do 240 for 3. With the choice band, that's 270, so you're knocking out most of the Tag Team GXs in one hit. Accelerating fighting and Sidekick energies on one Pokemon seems weird and difficult. In Expanded, it's going to be easy. You just slap an energy and then slap a double dragon energy and he's ready to go. In Standard, I suppose you could use Malamar. It's an option. Or you could just use the Zygarde, like I've said, and just hope to get the fighting energies on him that way, do a little bit of damage, and then the opposition is set up to get KO'd with the big damage. So maybe Zygarde is the way to go when using Garchomp and Giratina, but no matter what, you will have to find a way to get both Psychic energies and fighting energies on that dude to make the attack. But just all in all, this set, it just brings a lot to the table. There's a lot of great stage 2s as well. There's a new Slacking. I don't like it as much as the Celestial Storm one, but I think it's going to be pretty big with some of the combos you can do with the Giant Bomb tool in here. Trainer support is top notch. We get a lot of great things. Like I mentioned, Fire gets the Giant Hearth. You get things like the Collector Maniac, the Pokemaniac, yeah, letting you grab 3 Pokemon that have 4 retreat. And I think they can either be basic or evolution ones. Don't quote me on that, but just another great supporter. We get things like Coach Trainer, some decent Tag Team GX support too. Supporters that work specifically helping you out if you have Tag Team GXs down. And even another new special energy, recycled energy, revamped from the Neo Genesis set. I think people are going to find ways to really exploit that card, and it's going to be really busted, but hey, it's been since Neo Genesis, so might as well bring it back, see what we can do with it. In general, just a fantastic set. The only types that are kind of lackluster when it comes to support is Metal and Fairy. There are only a couple, Fairy Pokemon, might just only be like 3. Yeah, it's Cottony, Whimsicott, and Dedenne. And then Metal Pokemon, you just have Molly GX and Escavalier. So besides those 2 lackluster types, you could say, support for those types, every other new type has some strong Pokemon to work with. And they also have like a GX, like almost every type in this set has either at least one regular GX or maybe a few, or just a Tag Team GX to represent the type. Like for grass, you got Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor. You've got Psyduck and Slowpoke for water. You got Keldeo GX. You've got Raichu for lightning. Mewtwo and Espeon Psychic. You got the Aerodactyl, which is going to be another big Pokemon, blocking, just slowing things down with needing your opponent another colorless requirement for their attacks. And Darkness, Umbreon, Sableye, just everybody gets something. So I think this set is going to be pretty big. Definitely a way to go out with a bang. The era, it's coming down to a close, like I've said, and the format has been established by now. Just a few more cards to come out, and things are going to be completed. If I had to sum things up, I'd say, of course, the most important thing are the new Tag Team GXs and GX Pokemon. Nobody knows how are they going to be exploited. Cryogonal, of course, for the item lock, Zygarde for fighting Pokemon, Weavile GX, regulating darkness energy around, that's always something strong. And Sidekick, Espeon, and Deoxys could be very scary. Mewtwo and Mew, of course. I think these cards stand out as the strongest, general cards from this set anyway. Maybe Spore decks are going to be something, maybe other strategies are going to pop up. But this is the video, guys. You can leave down in the comments what you think is going to take over once the new set comes out and how the meta is going to shape up. I've listed my biggest cards, but you always never know. I don't even check what's happening in Japan before I make these videos, so I'm always sort of guessing, going with my gut. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys subscribe and leave a like. Share this video with your friends. My channel is an excellent hub for all things TCG. And Sabro4, thank you guys for watching as always. And we'll see.